Welcome to The Explainer. Okay, let's dive right in. We hear it all the time, right? Blockchain is this unbreakable, immutable ledger. And that's a really powerful idea. But what happens when the software it's built on, the actual code, isn't so perfect?
And that is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Because behind this revolutionary concept is, well, it's code. Code written by people. And just like any other complex piece of software out there, whether it's your banking app or your computer's operating system, it can have bugs, it can have vulnerabilities.
Okay, so you're saying even the core protocol of something huge like Bitcoin could actually have bugs?
Exactly. Look, they're incredibly robust for sure, but they are not infallible. I mean, take Bitcoin's famous 1 megabyte block size limit. That wasn't just some random number. It was a very deliberate choice by Satoshi Nakamoto, specifically to prevent certain kinds of network attacks that could have been a huge problem otherwise.
So that brings up those network attacks. I mean, what's to stop an attacker from just spamming the network, just overwhelming a blockchain with a ton of junk transactions, kind of like a classic denial of service or DoS attack?
Oh, they can definitely try. But the major blockchains have some really clever defenses built right in. And what's super interesting is how they tackle the problem from completely different angles. Bitcoin, as we just saw, uses a hard structural limit. That 1 megabyte block size acts like a wall. But Ethereum, it uses a flexible and, frankly, pretty brilliant economic model.
And this is where Ethereum's gas system just shines. It's an incredible defense. Think about it. By making an attacker pay for every single little step of computation, it makes a huge spam attack completely irrational from an economic standpoint. The attacker would literally go broke trying to cause any real disruption because they have to pay the fee even if their attack fails. It's genius.
Okay, so the core network seems pretty well defended, right? But I always hear that the real danger, the place where things get messy, is with smart contracts. Why is that?
It's because smart contracts are kind of a perfect storm. You've got three really dangerous things all mixed together. 1, they handle money. 2, they run all by themselves based on their code. And 3, and this is the big one, that code is immutable. Once it's out there, you can't just patch it. This immutability turns a simple bug, like this thing called a reentrancy attack, into an absolute catastrophe. It basically lets an attacker keep withdrawing money over and over again before the contract even realizes what's happening.
And then there's another classic programming mistake: integer overflow or underflow. Now, in most software, this is a bug, sure, but here, it's a disaster. We're talking about a contract that can be managing millions of dollars in tokens. A simple math mistake, like subtracting 1 from a value of 0, can cause the number to wrap all the way around to the biggest possible value. Just like that, an attacker can pretty much print themselves a massive, totally fake balance.
Now, these vulnerabilities might sound a little bit theoretical, so let's look at some real-world examples where these exact kinds of bugs had absolutely major consequences. All right, let's start with the most infamous hack of all time, the DAO. This was a huge deal. It was this groundbreaking decentralized venture fund built on Ethereum, and it raised an absolutely staggering amount of money. But its smart contract had that exact reentrancy bug we were just talking about. An attacker found it, exploited it, and siphoned off about $60 million worth of Ether from the fund.
I mean, this hack was so massive, it caused a full-blown philosophical crisis in the community. To get the money back, they had to make a really controversial decision: to do a hard fork, which basically rolled back the entire chain's history. Now, this saved the money, yeah, but it flew right in the face of that core principle of unstoppable, immutable code.
Okay, another devastating bug hit the parity multisig wallet. Get this, a bug in its main initialization function, the part of the code that sets up who the owners are, allowed anyone to call it again, even after it was already set up. This gave attackers control, letting them just become an owner of a wallet they had nothing to do with. And here's the part that's just brutal. The fix was so simple. All it needed was a single line of code, a little modifier, to stop that function from ever being called more than once. That's it. One tiny oversight led to millions and millions of dollars in assets getting compromised.
Yeah, these examples are pretty terrifying, right? And what they really show is that your standard, everyday software development practices, they just aren't enough here. The stakes are way too high. So what's the path forward? How do we prevent this from happening again and again?
Well, the community has definitely learned some very hard lessons. What we're seeing now is a move toward a much more rigorous engineering discipline. It's really a new standard of care. We're talking about things like formal verification, which uses math to literally prove that a contract's logic is sound. It's about using community-reviewed code, building on top of heavily audited libraries instead of reinventing the wheel. And it's about using safer design patterns right from the start to avoid these irreversible mistakes.
So, at the end of the day, the big takeaway here is that while blockchain tech offers these incredible possibilities, it's not magic. It's a really powerful, but also a really unforgiving software environment where the stakes are just immense. And all of this forces us to ask a really critical question about the future of this whole technology.
And that's our look into the technical hurdles of blockchain security. Hey, if you found this useful, do us a favor and share. And of course, subscribe for more explainers just like this one.